some of these stories that are good, that comes to unite Nigerians, has always been put behind. They don't want to tell these stories. They don't want to put out these narratives. They put the narratives that when people from a particular tribe or from a particular religion hears of it, they say, oh, these were the persons that did this to us 60, 50 years ago. No. We can't really have anything good to do with such people. And these wrong narratives have been pushed from generations to generations to generations to generations. And with that particular concept, a typical northern man is looking at the guy from the east as a murderer, as a traitor. Is okay, these were the persons that carried out the first Nigerian coup, which led to the killing of the Saddam. And the Easterners have always been looking at the Westerners, okay, these guys betrayed us during the war. Because for me, it's not necessarily most people's fault. I think it's the narrative that was created by this political class to keep Nigerians divided, because it's a whole concept of divide and rule. We keep them divided. It's easy for us to use them when it comes to politics and all that. So it is time for people to really begin to rewrite the narrative of history, begin to bring out those things that were geared towards uniting Nigeria. My dad used to tell me during the whole war and stuff, the Sultan of Sokoto and the Emir of Kano opened their palaces for the Easterners to come in and not to be killed during the Northern genocide and all that. And these are narratives that when you begin to pass this information from generations to generations, it will create some sort of unity. It will create some sort of accommodation. And these people in power know these things. So that's why they're making sure they keep what will unite Nigeria aside and sell us the ideas that would keep us divided. So these are some of the things we need to look at. And as young people, predominantly young people are more in this country. And if there's going to be any change, it has to start with the young people. If you look at the whole campaign and stuff, I'm not trying to be political here. Mr. Peter Obi has always geared his narrative of new Nigeria towards the younger generation, because he knows that the change a country desires can only come when the young people, the young class in that country decides to stand up and say, okay, this is the narrative our fathers, our grandfathers told us. But from research, from history, this is not actually what happened. There were really instances where people dropped their religious backgrounds, their ethnic lines, and decided to come out for one another as true Nigerians and begin to push these narratives. I think when we get to that point, which I know we are getting there, we will begin to see the desired change we want in the life of young people, and then we can get that towards a better Nigeria. Princess, you can still go on.
Yeah, and sorry, if you check, this whole change in the narrative by young people started during the NSAS period, because that was like the biggest mobilization of young. In fact, you see that what happened during the NSAS is what moved a lot of young people to want to participate in this election, right? I made it a duty to remind a lot of my friends that, if we don't do something about it, these people are going to continually kill us. Yeah, and the truth about it is that there's no possible way they can overpower us, because it was in a space I heard that the youth force of Nigeria makes up 75% of the country, right? If not more. So we have the power. And if we want to start something, I think we need to start from the point of educating ourselves. We who know this new narrative, we who know what is right, we need to reach out to other people, other young people, and say, you're getting it all wrong. We need to correct their mindset, correct their narratives, right? You're getting it wrong. I tell people, nobody is going to spoon feed you information. But like we earlier said, Nigerians are a very lazy set of people. They have a short fuse. Once something, number one, they don't like to look for information. They are not inquisitive. They are not curious. A good majority of young people, right? They only know what concerns them, and they want to have fun, right? They don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of what's actually going on. But if we as can enforce these, correcting them all, but to put it to them that, you see, whatever you're doing now, it's not going to work. This is how it is. This is how it's been from time immemorial. And if we continue like this, we're just going to ruin this country. So this is the best way. A lot of these G-boys that you see doing whatever they're doing, it's not, I'm not going to blame them. I mean, I can't blame them because the country didn't work for them. And that's why they just had to look for some way to, you know, get involved and know how to raise money for themselves and know how to do this and know how to do that. But the truth, I tell a lot of G-boys, I know people from school, right? I tell them, I said, if you put this knowledge, if you put all this knowledge, all this, how do I explain it now? If you put these skills into making your life better, into business, into your education, do you know how far you'd be in life? You know, many of them, they have the skills, they have the strength, they have the resources, but they channel it to the wrong things. And it's because Nigeria has been made to look impossible for them. Everybody wants to jackpot, and we have the resources. It's just mismanagement. But if we as youths can join force and hold every single leader we have accountable and tell them that, you know, we are greater than you, we have a stronger force than you. So it's either this country works for us or we make it hard for you. That's the only way we can settle this in our country. That's the only way we can work, you know? So I don't want to talk too much. Does anyone have anything else to add?
Well, I think, to be fair, what the young people are doing in Nigeria needs to be amplified, especially by the older folks. And it goes to what you were saying before. I don't think it's fair what the older generations are doing to the young ones in terms of creating awareness for them. Because from a personal point of view, I think the young Nigerians today are more informed than ever. I think they're more aware, they're more tenacious, they're more resilient, and they're more creative. You know, but it's almost like if the older generation are jealous of the younger ones, you know, which becomes a problem. You know, when I mean the older ones, not, you know, like if you're 20, for instance, the guys who are 30 are looking like they're jealous of you. You know, because they can see your potential that they didn't have. So, from my point of view, I think what you're doing is what needs to be done. You need to, you know, like there's a picture of a girl covering her mouth. The one Steve used for his campaign one time. It's a picture of a girl covering her mouth and she's crying. You know, I kind of look at it from a youth point of view, that the youths are really, really crying and saying, hey, look, you guys need to hear us. If you don't hear us, if we stop crying, we're going to take it, you know, the way we know how. And we've seen this play out in so many instances. But the idea is there are few Nigerians, there are a lot of Nigerians who understand this thing and, you know, are willing to align, help, drive, inspire, instigate, push, and lead the charge for young people to lead. And I think that's where we are. I'm really excited about Nigeria, to be honest. Nigeria is one of the amazing prospects you can see out there globally. You can see change coming, but the question is, how prepared are we? You know, even the young people were saying, how prepared are we? But if we don't start talking to them, if they don't start talking to us, if the country doesn't start talking to them, then I think we might miss a huge opportunity for engagement. But the road is really clear, but if we don't speak, it's not going to happen. If we don't act, it's not going to happen. And if we don't set specific goals per se, it's really not going to happen. So that's where we are at this point in time. I think I'll let Chris continue. Right.
Are you a new Nigerian man wants to speak?
Yeah, that's Chris.
Can you see him from your? Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. The princess, I love the passion, you know, at which you are speaking. And, you know, many times when we find ourselves in that lucky part of life, when we are more informed than the other people, you know, we may not know the difference that exists between us and them. And sometimes it's thanking God that we're different from the others. I say that to just lay some important information, I hope, you may need, even as you continue with what you're doing. It's a collective thing. Why I say as you continue is that you are doing your own part, and I know there's something inside of you that is urging you to do what you're doing, and also as people maybe who have also lived before your generation, maybe we have one or two values to add. And one of the things I know about the Nigerian person is that the Nigerian person is someone who aggregates every opportunity he has to achieve the best. That is who we are. But these achievements can only be to the extent of the knowledge you have, or awareness, or competency, that you have. And we'll say that when we look at our past, the past generation, and say they failed in leadership, they didn't just fail in political leadership, they also failed in so many other things, in parenting and youth upbringing. Why I say that is that for every generation, or for every nation, or every society, what the youth become is the offshoots of what they see their parents do. For example, why is this hustling for money that leads to a lot of young people going into Yahoo and doing all sorts of things to make ends meet? Now we are in an age where everybody or everyone, understand that people must have to survive, and people must not have to depend on the other people to survive. And then looking at the people who have survived in Nigeria, who have made the money in Nigeria, most of them are the politicians who did it in a crooked manner. And because they are celebrated anywhere they go to, so everyone try to look up to them, want to be like them, want to be as rich as them. Now, the political arena is not for everyone, because it's only when you have a position that you can actually get something out of it. So these young people said, okay, which other means can we get this fast money, to be like our fathers? Especially, I love the saying that, children will always be greater than their fathers. So what they did is fast tracking, their destiny, not learning, not knowing that there is a time for preparation and there is a time to make wealth. And when you do not prepare, any wealth you have at that time cannot be sustainable. So in trying to be like their fathers and outwit their fathers, they have no other option than to see any option available as an opportunity to also show that they have strength, that they have knowledge, and all of that. What parenting ought to do is to guide and bring out the best in these children, ensuring that they provide them with the moral values and guidance that would have, guided their everyday life, what they do, their decisions and their actions. But unfortunately, these same people who were supposed to model the life of the young people are already guilty of immorality. And what else do you see? People readily become what they see and believe what they see and reproduce what they see. So that is the problem of the Nigerian young people who, at this moment, are confused between doing the right thing and surviving and doing the wrong thing and surviving. So where we are, I used to tell a lot of people that any leadership that will emerge now that will be able to make impact in life is to see how to help the youth. I remember in one of the spaces we had, we went to the second stanza of our national anthem where it said, help the youth the truth to know. Help the youth. The youth have to be helped to know the truth. And whatever they know, he said, teach a child how to go. And when he grew, he will not forget it. He will continue in that, in that manner. So that's the one of the things I feel, had happened to Nigeria. We've never had fathers, we've never had leaders, we've never had icons that we look up to, that we learn from. And that is the gap that had existed over the years. And that gap will keep widening until it is bridged. And I feel that our generation, for example, are the people who will, come to, bridge this gap, to make sure that the knowledge that is expected of the young people, to acquire, such that we build a nation. Because what our father did not acquire, those knowledge they didn't have, is the reason why our nation is the way it is. So the way out is to go back and do the needful, correct those errors. That our youth have what it takes in terms of potential, but they need to be guided. They need to know that these things our fathers are doing was wrong. And we cannot continue that if we have to give back, if we have to have a society that will work for us. One of those things is to create hope ahead of them. If you do A to Z, you will get this. That propels you, because the reason why most of them are also doing what they're doing is that there's no hope anywhere, no other alternative. How can someone at this useful age finish school, haven't graduated, has nothing to do? And they say the idle man is the devil's workshop. You understand? So they must look for what to do, because their age has been given that strength and power to keep working, to do something. So when they are not doing the right thing, if the wrong thing is available, they will readily do it. And these are the things I think we should know and be able to say, okay, how do we curb this? How do we let them know? Especially now that we can see the consequences of the actions of the past, those who have stolen money, what they have done to the country. It's enough reason to let them, take an alternative, new decision, that will provide the missing link and ensure that we have a greater future in the hands of these teeming Nigerian youths. I think I can yield my mic now and, allow other people to speak or get a response. Thank you.